Hey, and welcome. I'm really glad you're here. Over the next 50 short lessons, we're going to walk through the Linux commands that 99% of people use 99% of the time, explained the way you'd want a friend to explain them over coffee. No jargon thrown at you, no assumptions about what you already know, just one small win at a time, about 10 minutes a lesson. By the end, you'll be the person at work who simply knows the terminal without the anxiety. So let's start with the obvious question. What actually is a terminal? Think of your computer like a house. Most of the time, you wander through the rooms with your mouse, clicking icons and dragging things around. But there's also a back door, a quieter way in, where you just tell the computer what you want using words. That's the terminal. You slip it a little note that says, "Show me what's in this folder," and it does. No magic, no tricks, just words. And the words you slip through that back door, they're called commands. A command is just a short word that tells the computer to do one thing, like asking a very polite robot for a small favor. Most of them are just shortened English: ls for list, cd for change directory, rm for remove. And here's the shape they take: the command itself, sometimes an option for how to do it, and sometimes a target for what to do it on. The good news? Plenty of commands work all on their own, no extras needed. So before we touch a single command, here's the whole map. 50 commands grouped into 10 friendly stages, and they're not in random order. You start by figuring out where you are, then what things are, then how to make and break stuff, and you build from there all the way to real-world power by stage 10. Don't worry about memorizing any of this now. This map will show up at the start of every stage like a little "You are here" sign, so you'll always know how far you've come. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about where this is actually taking you. On the left, that's probably you today. Terminal makes you a little nervous, you Google every command, you copy-paste things hoping they work, and you quietly avoid the Linux server at work. On the right is you after lesson 50. And notice, none of it is wizard stuff. It's just knowing what to type, understanding why, and being the person who calmly says, "Yeah, I can do that." So before we go anywhere near a command, let's make sure you can actually open a terminal. That's your one job for lesson 0. If you're on Linux, Ctrl plus Alt plus T does it. On a Mac, hit Command plus space and type terminal. On Windows, the cleanest path is installing WSL2, but honestly, if you're on a Chromebook, a phone, or anything in between, just pop open a free online terminal like Replit or Killer Coda. Same thing, runs in your browser. And if none of that clicks right away, totally fine. Search how to open a terminal on whatever you're using. Everyone's Googled it. That's not cheating, that's the job. Okay, once you've got that terminal open, here's the next thing I want you to hear. And please believe me on this one, mistakes are not a sign you're bad at this. Every senior Linux person you'll ever meet still mistypes paths and deletes the wrong thing now and then. The difference is just knowing how to recover. So we follow 3 little rules. Read your command back before you hit enter, practice in a throwaway folder like ~learning, and on anything risky, ask the computer to double-check you. That's it. Those 3 habits will carry you through all 50 lessons. Now, with those habits in your pocket, let me show you the shape of every lesson ahead, because they all follow the exact same 10 steps. We start with a little story, meet the command, learn what it actually does in plain English, try it once, see 3 handy options, walk through a real example, look at the common mistake, find commands that pair nicely, do 3 tiny exercises, and wrap up with a recap. By around lesson 3, you'll feel the rhythm, and every 5 lessons there's a small celebration waiting for you, all the way up to your certificate at lesson 50. Now, before we go any further, let's be honest with each other about what this course is and what it isn't. By the end, you'll walk away with real confidence around the 50 most used commands, a feel for how they actually work, the ability to combine them, recovery skills for when things go sideways, and yes, a printable certificate. What we won't do is dive deep into kernel internals, networking, bash scripting, or server setup. Those are whole worlds of their own, and we have other courses waiting for you when you're ready. And just like that, you're ready. You've got the map, you understand what a terminal is, you've seen the shape of a command, and you know that mistakes are part of the deal. Up next is Lesson 01, a tiny 3-letter command called pwd that simply answers, "Where am I right now?" It's the easiest first win you could ask for. I'll see you there.